Okay. All right. Let's see if today is going to go off without a hitch. Let me make sure I'm not muted. And I'm going to wait for some people to hop on to confirm that you can hear me. And during that time, I'm just going to get everything set up here. All right. Is this working? All right. I see a bunch of comments showing up now. There was a bit of a delay there. Good morning, my friends. Can everybody see me and hear me okay? Oh, so good. Thank you, Sue. We've had so many hiccups with the sound in the last 3 to 4 weeks that I was starting up today's live feeling a little bit of anxiety. So I'm glad to hear you can hear me. We won't waste time sorting out the mic and all the things. Oh, good morning, all my friends. It's like I'm seeing you guys in person when I see your names pop up. I know that might sound a little cheesy, but when I see the names pop up in the comments, whether I know you or not, it's like I'm meeting friends or seeing friends for the first time after a really long time. So, welcome everyone to Coffee and a Card Facebook Live. My name is Zara Premji. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and creative card making coach. I just threw the creative in there because we're all creative, but I'm a card making coach from Markham, Ontario, Canada. And every Sunday morning, I like to hop on and do a card making tutorial with coffee because, coffee is life for me. It's not really life, but it's really an important part of my life. And I like to just share some card making inspiration with others. I like to just chatter and talk about all the crazy things that are going on in our life. And I love to engage in conversation with you as well. So whether you're watching for the first time or the 14th time, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And please do comment in the comments to let me know if this is your first time watching so we can all welcome you. It's just a warm and supportive community of people that gather every Sunday morning virtually to enjoy our love of crafting and card making. So, tell you a little bit about my story. I am a mother of three. I have a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 8-year-old. I've been married for this week will be 20 years. So Thursday, my husband and I are celebrating our 20th anniversary. I work as an occupational therapist in the school system. So I support students with developmental and physical disabilities to help them be successful in their school day. So it's a very, very busy life. And I'm so grateful that over 9 years ago, I was invited to a stamping workshop, which I knew nothing about, but I just knew that I needed a night out. I needed some social time and I just needed a break from the day to day. And so I went, not expecting to actually enjoy what I was about to do. And boy, was I wrong when I first put ink to paper. And the demonstrator showed us how to make these 4 gorgeous handmade cards. And I was hooked right from the get go because what I loved about it was that it was quick, it was easy. I didn't need to be creative. I didn't need to be able to draw or handwrite beautifully. All I needed to do was hold a block and ink up a stamp and stamp it on the paper. Since then, I have developed my card making skills. And one of the things that I've really learned to love is sharing it with others. So, one of my favorite things about this journey is to connect with others, to help them believe that they have creativity within them, and to be able to give card making a try and see how much fun it is to both make your cards and then send it on to others. That was a really long blurb. So, I apologize for talking so much today. Let me just go back and read the comments. So Michelle's telling me I look fabulous. Well, thank you. I did wake up a little early and I kind of put myself together. I had to get my grays colored on Friday, and so the hairdresser curled my hair. So I can't take credit for this. It's all her. Good morning, Tammy over on YouTube. Good morning, Nicole, Gail, Carmen, Shirley. You know what? I am feeling happy today. I think part of it is I got to we're not living at home right now because we're in the midst of a major home renovation. Lots of structural things happening, both upstairs, like the main floor and the upstairs are being completely changed. So we can't live here right now. But I did get here a bit early this morning. I was listening to some 80s music. And then once I got crafting, I just started to feel happy. And I'm also relieved that my sound is working today. So thank you, Denise. Thanks, Elizabeth. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been 20 years and we've been together for 5 before that. So we've been together for a quarter of a century, which yeah, I just feel super old, but Good morning, Suzanne. I'm happy you're catching me live too over on YouTube. Good morning, Janice. Oh, working on wedding invitations. Yeah, I remember that. Actually, when we were cleaning up our like tidying up all our stuff and moving it out, we found our wedding invitation from 20 years ago, which was just kind of funny. Okay, I'm talking way too much, so I'm going to flip the screen and I am going to tell you what we are going to be making today. Now, some of you may find this what you're seeing on the screen a little unfamiliar, and I'm trying to work with the lighting here, so it'll take me a few tries. I'm doing something a little different with my overhead light, so we'll see if it kind of eliminates the shadows, but I do realize there's a glare. Okay, we are going to be playing with the cup of tea suite. Now, if you haven't seen this before, that's because it actually hasn't gone live to the general population. As a demonstrator, I am able to pre-order a product early. And this is actually something that if you're not already a demonstrator and you would like to be able to get your hands on this product early, you can do that. That's one of the perks of our starter kit, is that you get to order new products earlier than everybody else. And then every subsequent catalog that comes out, you get to order from that early too. So definitely fills my need for immediate gratification. And we are going to be playing with this gorgeous suite. So tell me in the comments how many of you love to drink tea. So I know I talk about coffee all the time, but I also really love tea. So I'm Indian. My background is Indian, and we love a good cup of strong tea. And so especially right now while I'm living with my parents, there's a lot of tea drinking happening. So tell me in the comments if you love tea. And during that time, I'm just going to tell you a couple of really quick announcements. The first one is that if you are interested in getting my email newsletters, you just need to click on this link here at the bottom. And this is, you'll see there's a number of different buttons here you can click, but there is one where you can get my weekly emails. So when things like the catalog is coming out, when there are promotions, when there's any upcoming events and classes, which I do have one to tell you about, product shares, that kind of thing, you'll definitely want to be on my email list so that you can get the details. So you can click that, find the link that says to join my email list and just sign up for that. And then you'll get all my weekly emails and you'll be in the know. They're going to be weekly from this time forward. I've been a little, there have been some wider gaps than I would like over the last little while, just because we were moving and stuff. So anyway, I will remove that banner as soon as I figure out how, and I'll put it up again at the end. So we are going to be playing with this new suite of products. And the other thing that I want to tell you about this is that this is going to be one of the featured bundles or suites in my stamp camp that's coming up on June 11th. So during that time, myself and my friend Jamie Babarzi, who is in upstate New York, we have partnered together to do, I think this will be our 4th event together, and they've been wildly appreciated. I think the response has been overwhelmingly positive. And so we're doing it again. And so we're each partnering, we're partnering and we're each designing with a suite. So Jamie is actually going to be designing with the cup of tea suite, and I am going to be designing with the Happiness Abounds bundle, which is, I mean, this should come as no surprise to those that know about my love for florals. So I'm going to be designing with that. We're going to be creating 10 cards, and you will get to make those 10 cards. We'll have product presentations, demonstrations, and all of those things. So I'll pop the link in the description at the end of this video. And if you are interested in stamping with us for a day, you don't have to be, you can do it from wherever you are in Canada or in the US. And you can stamp with us. You will get a package of goodies mailed to you. It's just going to be a wildly fun day. So, and lots of fun little gifts and surprises also we have planned. So let me get started with the crafting. Oh my goodness, I've been talking for how long now? A really long time. It's been like 10 minutes. So let me show you the card that we are going to be making today. So this is the card. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone. I'm going to show you how to do this card. And I talk all the time about layouts. So this is a really fun layout, and it's very easy to duplicate. So whether you have the tea bundle or anything else you have in your craft supplies, you can definitely duplicate this bundle. I realized that I forgot to measure the width of my designer series paper. I think it's 1 1/8. 1 1/8 by 4 5/8. Okay, 1 1/8 by 4 5/8. I really should write that down. And then that'll also benefit you if you want to duplicate this. What did I say? 1 1/8 by 4 5/8. And then the white background is 3 3/4 by, let's see, 4 3/4. Okay, I should have known that. By 4 3/4. Okay, so those are kind of the main measurements that you need, and the rest of it will be pretty standard. So I will put that here, and let's get started. Hold on. Okay. Oh, Janice says, Stamp Camp is always so much fun. We'll definitely be joining in. Love both of those bundles. I'm so happy to hear that. Shirley says, fun experience with you too. Yeah, we have a good time. I think it's always a fun thing to do. So, okay. I've got my materials all cut up. Now stick around to the end because I'm going to show you another card that I made using this tea suite. I can't remember exactly what the suite is called, but you get the gist. It's all kind of tea themed. So I've already got my cardstock cut out, and I've used crumb cake, and then I've got some pieces of white cardstock, and then I've also die cut some circles. So let me just shift that to the side and show you the designer series paper. So we've got the Tea Boutique Designer Series paper, and all of our papers have listed on the back the names of the colors that coordinate with them. So I will often use this list to kind of pick out the colors that I'm using. So this one has crumb cake, crushed curry, fresh freesia, garden green, a whole bunch of other Stampin' Up! Colors, which if you're not familiar with, they're basically just pretty colors. So this comes in a 6x6 pack. And some of the papers are tea themed, but then there are many that are not. So you can see that there's like some stripes, there's some, diagonal plaid, and then there's some with teacups. There's this one with the little envelopes. I think this one is so cute. And then more teacups, more teapots, lemons for those of you that love lemons, and then just some also like really good background papers. I love that one too. And then some florals. So you could just kind of get a feel for how versatile this is, even if you're not into tea, and even if you're not really interested in purchasing the bundle, the paper itself lends itself really nicely to all sorts of other cards. And on the back side of even the ones that have teapots on them are non-thematic patterns. Okay, so very, very versatile, neutral patterns. You can use them for a variety of cards. So any type of occasion card you would want to do, you could do with these. So even masculine cards would work nicely with some of the colors and patterns here. Okay, so beautiful pack of designer series paper. And I'm going to be using this one here, which seems to have almost every color listed on the back in that paper. So I'm going to start by cutting my paper, and I need my trimmer to do that. So the Stampin' Trimmer, if you don't have this, is probably one of my most used tools, this and our cut and emboss machine. And I love that it has both a scoring blade and a cutting blade. So I'm going to cut my designer series paper first lengthwise to 4 3/4. And then I'm going to cut these at 1 1/8. And I'm using the markings on the right side of the trimmer, which I know is hard to see, but let's do 1 1/8. 1 1/8, and then one more at 1 1/8. Okay, so we've got these all done, and then I'm going to, I don't need to do any more cutting because I've already done all of that. I'm going to put this away. I did also use the scoring blade to score my card base earlier, and so that's all done for you. So I'm going to take my card base and just grab my bone folder to just crease the card base. So while I did create that score line already, I just want to burnish that a little bit more to keep that all ready to go. So let's glue down the designer series paper. Now, when you have the pattern, hello, Laurel. I'm so glad. Good morning, Shirley. Good morning, Deborah. Deborah, you made it just in time. I was feeling extra chatty this morning, so I literally have just started crafting. Now, what did I do wrong here? Something's up. Oh, I cut my DSP wrong. Hang on. I need to chop 1/8 of an inch off of this. So this should be 4 5/8. Did someone catch that in the comments? Someone must have caught that. Okay. 1/8 of an inch too long. There we go. And notice how I stacked 3 pieces of designer series paper all together and was still able to cut through. So the blade, this is a an improved version of our previous trimmer, and the blade is thicker, so it actually cuts, you can cut multiple sheets of designer series paper. Now, since the paper is like the pattern is relatively small, you don't necessarily have to match everything up perfectly, but this actually ended up working out. So when you're using this kind of a layout and you want to put your designer series paper side by side, my suggestion would be to use liquid glue for this. And that way you have a little bit of time to move things around, because if you do use kind of more of a really tacky tape runner, and by tacky I mean really sticky, if you use a really sticky tape runner, then it's a little hard to move it around and align things. So that's why I find the liquid glue allows me to just make some of these ever so slight adjustments if I need to. And because the paper is going to occupy most of the space on the white background, you want to just make sure that you've got your spacing fairly even here so that you can fit all three pieces. Okay, so that's going like that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's handmade, and those imperfections give it character and let somebody know that you made it. So, and you had fun doing it. Okay, so that is going to be our background. Okay, so we're going to set that aside, and now we're going to do some stamping and die cutting so that we can finish assembling our card. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this piece of white scrap paper, and I'm going to teach you a little hack for one of the stamps in this stamp set. Okay, so first I'm going to stamp my teacup. I'm just going to use, good morning, Natalie. Thank you for joining. I love seeing you all say hello to each other in the comments. That makes my heart happy that like friends are watching together. Okay, so I'm just stamping this in crushed curry, and just look at how fun that stamp is. Like it's so whimsical, and I love stripes, and I just see so many possibilities with this. So I just love this striped mug. And the other thing is that if you have the dies, you can just cut one of the striped papers of the DSP with the dies, and you'll have a striped cup. Okay, here's my hack. So there's one stamp in here, which is 5 little flowers. I'll just show it to you on the case here. So it's this one here. This is actually one stamp. Now, a couple of tips for you. One is it's very, very delicate. So as you are peeling it off your plastic sheet, don't pull it hard, because it is so delicate that it could easily rip. Our photopolymer is fairly sturdy, but it's not completely rip proof. I don't think that's a word, but we're gonna go with it. So you want to take it off very carefully. Now, one of the things that I did is, because it's so thin and kind of fragile, it can kind of shift. The orientation of the flowers can shift. So what I noticed when I stamped it the first time, and then I went to die cut it, that the dies did not match the stamp. They were a little off. So what I did was I kind of created a template, and now this will allow me to align it. So all I'm doing here, hopefully you can see that. So my stamps are actually aligned with the die cut, so that I know when I pick it up on the block and then I stamp it, it's going to be better aligned, okay? Or at least we hope it will be. Okay, so now I've picked up my stamps like that, and I hope that makes sense. If you go to just place it on the stamp, there's a chance that it might not follow the same orientation as the die cut, and then you'll have some dies that are some die cuts that are off. So now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to stamp this in fresh freesia. I love this color. Oh goodness, that's coming off. Okay, my stamp wasn't on properly, so we'll see if it actually stays aligned. I really only want these 2 stamps anyway for my card, but I think it was an important point to mention just to help you have success when you are crafting with this. So now comes the die cutting part. And this is the other tool that I use most often. It's my cut and emboss machine. And you can get it in the large size, or you can do it in the mini. And the mini actually cuts a lot of our dies. There are going to be a few that will not fit through the mini. So if you want to be able to use them with all the dies, then you definitely want the standard size. But it does work, and it's very portable. You can take it when you're you know, at the cottage or traveling, or, you know, it's just very, very portable, and it folds up into a very small size. For the purposes of today, I'm going to use my large cut and emboss machine. Okay, I'm glad you like that tip. I hope that it made sense. Wasn't trying to confuse people further, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I confuse. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my cups, and I've got my dies here, so I'm going to line that up, and I'm going to use my Post-it tape. Okay, that looks pretty good. Again, we don't need those tiny little flowers for this card, but you will need them at some point, I'm sure, and you'll want to have it aligned. So here, let's use the Post-it tape. I'll get this down here, and then I'm going to use a little bit more. You don't need a ton. You just want to, this just helps it to position the die so that it will not move. Now, speaking of dies not moving, we have a new magnetic plate coming out on May 3rd. So it's going to be in our new annual catalog, and Stampin' Up! Has been working on improving the quality of the magnetic plate for so long. And so it's very exciting that it's now going to be available, and who knows, maybe we won't need the Post-it tape for long. Okay, so here we go. So in one pass, we've got our die cuts all ready to go. They're stuck to my Post-it tape here. So we've got these little flowers, which I'm just going to scrape off my plate. And then I've got my teacup here. Okay, my cute little yellow striped teacup. So the possibilities are endless. So you can, you know, again, copy the card. You can make it in exactly the same colors. But I know, you know, when you're feeling a little bold and you want to kind of test out some different colors, there's so many different possibilities here. Okay, so we are now in the assembly phase. So let's start to kind of put some of the little pieces together. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to tie some linen thread around this layer here. Just want to make sure. Oh, good. I'm glad, Shirley. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, when you're crafting, you kind of come across these little hacks along the way, or you learn them from other crafters. And so I think it's always important to share. I think it's really about like wanting people to be successful with their crafting. And sometimes those little things can just make it a little easier. Okay, so I'm just going to, I've wrapped this around twice. And I'm going to tie this in a bow. I'm so excited that linen thread is coming back. It's one of my most used twine ribbon options. I love the color. I just love the look it gives. Like just sort of this, it's a beautiful detail, but it's not overpowering. So I love linen thread. I say that as I'm really struggling to tie a bow today. Okay, here we go. That's not terrible. Not terrible. There we go. There we go. You want to stay sideways? That's fine. You don't want to work with me? That's fine. I was hoping it would be more upright, but not today. No, I'm just in a, I like to be chatty. I chat a lot. I'm going to put this on dimensionals because a little lift never hurt anyone. Okay, and here's another, I am like full of tips today. When you go to wrap your twine or ribbon around, if you find that there's a little slack, mine actually ended up working quite well today. One of the things that you can do is to just secure it with a dimensional, or you can use tear and tape, whatever works, but then pull the slack into the middle and put another dimensional down. So any kind of like loose part of that twine is going to get kind of fixed in between those two dimensionals, and then it just makes it a little more taut at the front. Okay, then peel them off. Shirley, you love my chatty moods. I don't know if my husband and kids feel the same, but I'm glad you guys do. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's done. And then I'm using a Vellum Circle. So this is one that I die cut with our new, oh my gosh, can we just have a moment for the Stylish Shapes dies? So we used to have the stitched shapes framelets. Those retired before our last catalog came out. And we were all super sad about it because clearly it was a favorite. And then they decided to come back with these Stylish Shapes dies. Now that there aren't really like, it's not stitching on the border of them, but it's more like little, um, it's almost like they took a piercing tool and made little dots. It's like a little piercing around the perimeter of the shape. And you get circles and you get squares. And then instead of ovals, which we used to have last time, which I didn't actually use very often, they now have these awesome banners. Okay, so they have 4 of the banners, and then I think there are 5 of the square and circle. 1, 2, 3, 4. I lied. 6. 1, 2, 3. 5 squares, 6 circles, 4 banners. So that is amazing, and I love these, and you will see them a lot from me because they're just fabulous. Okay, so let's start to assemble our little teacup vignette, and I'm going to put dimensionals on here. Notice I haven't stuck down my vellum yet, and that's because I want to see where everything is positioned, and then I will add the adhesive behind where the stuck on pieces are. For the little flowers, I'm going to use my liquid glue. Oh, Denise says, I thought of you when you saw the twine in the catalog. There's so much twine in there. Like, oh, I'm so excited about it. I love twine. I love ribbon too, don't get me wrong. I just find, I don't know, I find twine to be like a delicate detail. It's not like overly thick. And for me, I find it easier to work with. I know there are people that really don't enjoy it. And I think that's the other beauty of card making is you just find what you love and then you run with it. So fun and easy. Okay, so now that I've got my cup and the flowers stuck on, I know where to add my adhesive. I'm not going to put another layer of dimensionals because that would just be too much. That would be like 3 layers of dimensionals total for this card. So I'm going to go with 2, and I'm just using my liquid glue here, and I'm going to stick that up a little higher here. Okay, so the vellum, I had first tried it with white. What did I do here? Hold on. I had first tried it with white, with a white circle, and I just found it too stark, and you kind of lost a little bit of the designer series paper background. So I went with vellum, and I actually love the look because it allows the pattern to peek through. And then the last thing I'm going to add onto here, not the last, but before I start adding gems, is I'm just going to add my sentiment. Now, I'm not sure looking at this now if I couldn't go with the smaller circle because it would have cut off the sentiment, but I probably could have played around with a few other die sets, but I was just really feeling those the Stylish Shapes dies. So I already heat embossed this in white on a fresh freesia cardstock, and then I die cut it with the Stylish Shapes. So that is that, and then the last thing is to add some sparkle. So I'm going to use these elegant faceted gems. These have been around for a while. I think this might be their 3rd reappearance, and they're just beautiful. So I say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't get rid of them. They're beautiful. And because there is this hint of petal pink there's like just this beautiful baby pink, I'm going to use these gems here that are pink. And our card is almost done. Whoops. There we go. And I'm just using my take your pick tool. So again, if you are fairly new, but you want all of these supplies to be able to start crafting, I can put together a bundle that you can submit as a starter kit. And so it allows you to get the products early. It allows you to get a discount. So you would be saving a good chunk of money, like at least I would say $50 by the time you have the savings on the starter kit and the shipping and tax if you're in Ontario. And then it allows you to also get a discount on your future purchases. Okay, so the starter kit is an amazing deal. You don't have to do classes or workshops or lives. You don't have to do anything with it. You can just be a VIP shopper. It's similar to a Costco membership with no membership fee. So this is the card. Let me show you the original. And then I'm going to show you another one that I had done with it as soon as I put these away. And then you can tell me what you're thinking about this tea suite. Do you think it's one that you would love? And will you join us for Stamp Camp on June 11th so we can all craft together using this beautiful bundle? And if you know Jamie at all, she makes stunning cards. They're simple, beautiful, stunning. I think it's partly why we've connected so much because our styles are very simple. And so she's going to be creating some beautiful cards with these. And I hope you like the ones I did with the floral suite. So this is the card. I'm just going to stop and can't wait to work with this bundle, Sue says. Yes, Shirley, the twine definitely has a more natural look. Thank you, Sonia. Thanks, Denise. Okay, so I promised I would show you another one. Now, this week I had my team social. So every month, anyone that buys the starter kit and joins my team gets invited to our monthly team social. And it's a virtual gathering. You do it from wherever you are. We're on Zoom. And then we just kind of get together, and sometimes I do mystery stamping. So I'll send out measurements and supplies to prepare in advance. And this week, we just had a lot going on. So we just did kind of an open craft night. And so this is what I made. I started playing with the tea suite. Now I'm going to hold this close up because I think I should have probably chosen a different pattern of paper for my teacup here. It looks a little lost on there and on the white, but I just copied a layout that I found in the catalog and changed it up and used the tea suite. So this says, thank you for your friendship. And if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that, or you can go back and watch the replay and see that there. But I just copied the layout and made my own card with it. So this is the other card that I wanted to show you as an alternative. So that is what I have for you today. So let me just stop and see. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. You know, I had to throw in some pink because I love me some pink. All right. Okay, so I think that's it for me. If you have any questions, please do put them in the comments below, or you can send me a message and reach out to me. Don't forget to, I will pop the link for Stamp Camp into the description. Give me like 3 minutes. I'll do that as soon as this is done. If you have any questions about Stamp Camp, please let me know, and I would be happy to answer them. I hope you'll join us. It's a really fun day, and the feedback that we get from it is always overwhelmingly positive. People love it. And I would say 90% of the people that are signed up for our next Stamp Camp are returning guests. So I think that's a testament to what an awesome day it is. And it's just filled with lots of inspiration for the new catalog. So it really kind of just helps you get set up for your own crafting. You'll have tons of ideas and tips, and you'll have cards made. So it's always fun to craft with friends, right? So thanks so much for joining, everyone. I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a fantastic week ahead. I should tell you, I will not be live next Sunday morning because, as I mentioned earlier, my husband and I are celebrating our 20th anniversary, and we're actually taking a little trip. So for our honeymoon, we went to Jamaica 20 years ago, and we always said we would come back on our 10th anniversary. Well, when we were celebrating our 10th anniversary, we had two little ones. One was 6, one was 3, and then our third wasn't even born yet. So it wasn't really a good time to celebrate then with a trip. So we are going to be in Jamaica returning Sunday. So I will be missing next week's coffee and a card, but I really appreciate you guys joining me, and I will be back for the following week for coffee and a card. And I wish you all a good couple of weeks, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.